Hey everybody. So I actually was just about to have a panic attack. So I started feeling it. My heart race started going through the roof. Was really hard to breathe. And I noticed it was because I was thinking about something that happens to be one of my triggers. And so what I needed to do was stop my thoughts and really just kind of come back into the moment of what I was doing and how I'm feeling in a positive way, like what positive feelings, so that way I can get my mind off of the anxiety and off of my triggers. So I really wanted to talk today about how being in the present moment, practicing mindfulness actually really does help with anxiety attacks. And I know that it sounds so cliche. I remember whenever I started looking into it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is just like, really, how can you help stop a panic attack just by thinking of the current moment? Because currently you're going, 100 miles an hour and you're not doing well. So how, if you focus on that and you think about how you are in the present moment, how is that supposed to calm you down? But it actually does. And I'm not a doctor, so I can't explain how, but from a personal perspective of somebody that suffers from severe anxiety, panic attack, and PTSD, it is something that I actually, now that I have learned how to do it, it is something that I practice every single time that I am having a panic attack at the beginning stages before it actually gets to that point where I cannot control it. So really what I did was, like I said, I was thinking about something that happens to be a trigger for me. And so what I did was, once I started feeling dizzy, I started, my vision started kind of getting blurry, kind of feeling vertigo. My heart rate was going. It was hard for me to breathe. It was starting to get hard for me to concentrate. And then if I sit down, I get very agitated. I get really fidgety. I have to walk around. And that's just me personally. I'm just telling you my personal experience. So I get really anxious. All this adrenaline is pumping through my body. And sorry for the noise in the background. My dog is rolling around on the ground right now. But so I wanted to explain what I do as far as practice mindfulness. I know that there's a lot of meditations out there that are guided, and those really help as well. But again, identifying the triggers, and if you didn't see that video, it's one of my last videos that I made on how to, kind of really make sure that you identify what the issue is to see if there's a pattern. So you know what your triggers are. If it's, something in the environment, certain people, certain smells, certain sounds, we're all triggered by so many different things. So identifying them is going to be the number one step. And so whenever you start feeling that adrenaline, you start feeling that anxiety build up, and you're starting to feel it physically and mentally, it's kind of just going off in your head. Before it gets to that point where it gets out of control, you need to really, that's the key point. That's the boundary right there, is before you go into the actual anxiety attack. Once you start feeling it, like I said, I was able to conquer it. I did not go into an anxiety attack, but I had many symptoms, and I was able to reverse that by just practicing mindfulness and the current state. So again, I identified my trigger. I knew that what I was thinking about and talking out loud to myself was triggering me into an anxiety attack. So I stopped that, and what I did was I focused on another task. So I actually fed my dog. And with that, you don't want to just run away from the problem. You don't want to run away from the trigger. So it's not like I was pretending that everything's okay and that I don't feel it, because I do, or I did. So what I did was I was like, hey, everything's okay. I know that your heart's racing and you're feeling anxious right now, but everything is okay. You're feeding your dog. Put a little bit more broccoli into her food. Okay, let's put a little bit more gravy. Let's add a little bit of turkey. Things like that. So I'm not running away from the problem. I acknowledged that I felt that way, but I took control. So I was practicing mindfulness by being in the current moment of what task I was doing, which was feeding my dog. And with that, I focused on small tasks. So again, I was like, okay, well, let me add a little bit more broccoli. Oh, let me add this. So doing small tasks within the one big task really kind of helped bring me back. And then, all what I did was just kind of revisit back how I felt, because you don't want to ignore it. Because the more that, we get into that fight or flight phase that, you hear a lot of psychologists and psychiatrists talk about whenever we're going through an anxiety attack, we're in a fight or flight. And so you don't want to just run away and pretend that it's not happening or that you're not feeling anything, right? Like, you don't want to give it power by focusing on it, but you don't want to run away from it either. So again, after I was doing the tasks, I revisited how I felt, and I was like, well, hey, you did really good. And again, it's all about positivity, so congratulating yourself on small tasks that you do every single day, like feeding my dog. I congratulated myself. I said, hey, you did great with that. She's loving her food. She's enjoying it. She's going to town. You did really good that you fed her on time. I do it every single day, but the more that you focus on positive, even if it's congratulating yourself on everyday tasks, focus on the positive. So, hey, you did really good. You fed your dog. She's enjoying it, and you fed her on time. And, that was a really good call for you to add a little bit more broccoli, because look at her. She's really enjoying it. And, hey, you're doing great. And that's really what I did to just kind of come back and reverse that negativity into positivity. And then from there, it just kind of flowed. Hey, you did the dishes. Hey, you went to work. Hey, you did this, you did that. And that really helps change your mindset, right? Into that positive state of mind, congratulating yourself, being proud of yourself, and really meaning it. Your body knows whenever you're lying to yourself. So really mean it. Pat yourself on the back for brushing your teeth this morning, waking up and making your bed. Things like that. Small steps like that actually add up to be a really big success. And I just wanted to share my story. Thank you so much. This is Shine the Light. I named this channel Shine the Light because I really want to shine the light on anxiety and PTSD, panic attacks, for people that either don't know or people that suffer through it. Just know that you're not alone. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate you. Take care.